Hi, Missy K here on the Book Fix. Today my review is of The Thinking Woman's Guide to Real Magic by Emily Croy Barker. This book I picked up mainly based on the the title. Of course, the title is kind of catchy. And the second paragraph of the description. The first paragraph sounds kind of boring and dumb, and then the elegant veneer shatters and things get darker, and so that sounded really cool to me. I'm going to start out by saying I did enjoy it by and large. It was well constructed. It was the writing, although maybe not especially poetic or especially it didn't especially stand out in any particular way, but it was very competent. I was never annoyed by anything. There were never any typos or errors that I didn't like. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. At its base, this story is a portal fantasy. Examples of this are like Narnia, where someone lives in our world, the real world, and somehow steps over into a magical realm. And where Nora steps over happens to be in the domain of someone who is a magician, and she immediately welcomes Nora, and everything is wonderful and great, and everybody loves her. This woman Alyssa makes her more beautiful, and Alyssa's son falls in love with her and asks her to marry him, and everything just seems so wonderful. And then she realizes that almost everything that she's experienced there has been an illusion. And that's the part that's where the story turns. That's the second paragraph of the description. Now, I actually do not recommend that you read the entire description unless you would like to be spoiled. And I am actually at some point going to talk about some spoilers here in this review. But this description has one of my biggest pet peeves, which is when they tell you something that happens halfway through the book. And so on the description, on the book jacket, it tells you this thing, and it's not until about halfway through the book that it actually happens. So this whole time you're thinking, okay, but this is going to happen soon. This is going to happen soon. Yeah, this will happen soon. And it doesn't, and it's really annoying, and I hate it, and it's entirely the fault of the publishing company and not the author's fault at all. Anyway, so Nora has to escape from these people, and there's someone who helps her with that. And then she kind of learns how to live in this world, but she also is thinking about returning home. She would like to return home back to the real world, or our world. And before I get into the spoiler territory, I wanted to mention one thing that I loved about this book, which is the names in this other land, because Alyssa is probably the most normal name of any of the people in this world that Nora has stepped into. There are names like Hira's Jakinis and Aruendiel, and they're just like these crazy long names. And I'm not sure if the author was going for kind of a sense of disorientation of like everything is completely different, or if she was kind of a little bit making fun of the crazy names in a lot of fantasy novels, or a little bit of both. Either way, I loved it. I thought it was awesome and kind of hilarious. All right. Now, that's about all that I can say without spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, stop watching. If you don't mind the spoilers, you can go ahead and keep watching. Okay? All right. So R1DL is the magician who helped Nora escape. He has kind of a strong moral code, but is also sort of a jerk. He's really surly and kind of mean, and he doesn't have a very good opinion of women in general. But eventually, Nora kind of wears him down and makes and almost begs him, forces him in some way to teach her magic. And that's kind of where the whole Thinking Woman's Guide to Real Magic part goes on, or comes from. And I didn't have a problem with that because he's kind of a jerk, but sometimes teachers are jerks and it doesn't make them bad teachers. And sometimes you just have to learn from whoever knows what you want to learn. But they eventually fall in love, and it doesn't actually happen. They don't actually get together in this book because, oh, that's another thing. It's actually the first book in a series, which was not made clear. And it's not that I I don't really have a problem with series, but I just sort of like to know when I'm committing to another one. And so it just annoys me when they don't make that clear. Anyway. So the whole, like, they fell in love. Well, the biggest problem with that, besides the fact that he is kind of a misogynist, he does come to respect Nora specifically, but still doesn't really respect women generally. So, yeah, there's that. And honestly, the big thing is the fact that he killed his first wife, and up until the point when he and Nora had a conversation about it, I thought, well, it's going to be something where he blames himself for his wife's death, but he didn't actually kill her. No, he straight up stabbed her. So that's it kind of makes me, maybe there's still something more to be revealed in the second book, but it's disconcerting to say the least. With that being said, I still greatly enjoyed the reading of this book, and I probably will read the next one because I find Nora, like, she's not a heroine in that she is someone that I would look up to. She's not kick-ass, but she's very determined, and she's very relatable, and so she's interesting in that way. She makes some stupid mistakes. Who doesn't, right? So I definitely would like to see what happens to Nora. I remain a bit leery of the romantic relationship. We'll see where it goes. Like I said, maybe there's another secret that she hasn't revealed yet. I don't know. But overall, I recommend this book with those reservations that I have mentioned already.